It dates back to 1974, a private event that grew to attract personalities and politicians, not just the leading business bosses from around the world.
Fake news, folks, fake news.
The World Economic Forum is not quite the same without a backdrop of Swiss mountains. That's not all that's changed in the past 2 years.
We belong to a single global humanity, becoming ever more interconnected.
We may be interconnected, but the world is far from equal. The global pandemic has been a billionaire bonanza. The 10 richest people in the world have doubled their income in the last 2 years, according to an Oxfam report, while 160 million people have been pushed into poverty. Vaccines may have been a success, but underdeveloped countries have suffered more from COVID-19 because of unequal access to the inoculations. Now there are calls for governments to impose a wealth tax and use the money to fund expanded production of vaccines for the poor.
If one were to tax the 10 wealthiest people, the 10 billionaires, on the profits made during the pandemic at 99%, which is a very high amount, of course, we would be able to pay for vaccines for the whole world, have health systems for everyone. Taxing the wealth of the richest men would give resources to address some of the reasons why people are not able to cope with the pandemic.
To help close the health gap between countries, there's also a demand for rich nations to waive the intellectual rights on vaccines to allow them to be produced more widely.
The last 2 years have demonstrated a simple but brutal truth. If we leave anyone behind, in the end, we leave everyone behind. If we fail to vaccinate every person, we give rise to new variants that spread across borders and bring daily life and economies to a grinding halt.
But, like the fight against the climate crisis, much of this is dependent on governments acting collectively. Davos may normally be about big money and capitalism, but could things be changing? And will growing interconnectivity allow the future of decision-making to be driven more by grassroots movements than by captains of industry? Francis Collings, TRT World.